This is the Punisher podcast by BleedTV, covering Season 2. I'm Zach.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Cash.
And this is for episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Punisher, Season 2. We've already done 1 through 3, and so I'm going to just partially start off. What are y'all's thoughts so far as we've developed through 4, 5, and 6?
It kind of feels like a completely different season almost to me. It was like 1 through 3 was its own thing, and then now we're going into the meat and potatoes of what the rest of it's going to be.
Well, the setting's definitely changed. We're in New York, and everything is kind of
we're no longer in Martinville. I can tell you that.
I'd say the story is moving faster, but the scenes are a lot slower.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
as far as
could be my best fight scene I've seen ever in Punisher.
But the problem is
but the one thing I can definitely say.
The problem is that moment is so memorable, and it's way more memorable, and it completely overshadows the whole other three parts of the episode. I mean, other three
100%
episodes.
agree.
I mean, it's like.
So what do you remember? I remember this fight in the gym.
Yeah.
And
that's
matter of fact, the only things you remember is what to do with the Russians.
Yeah.
Even the switcheroo with at the restaurant and stuff, and
that's a cool little
the limo
thing.
scene. The Russian stuff, top notch good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the fight scene, obviously, in the weight room. Everything else, I can barely remember.
Well, like my problem is, how do y'all feel about Potter? Because I've seen this character so many times done really, really well. And he's just not doing it for me.
I like the character actor. I am just confused about his motivations in comparison. Are we to believe that just because these Schultz people are of influence in this church they go to, which, by the way, the congregation looks 50% normal, 50% on life support.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Like, people with masks and ventilation, I mean, like, cancer, I mean, like, it was...
It was anyone that they can get.
I mean, it was...
Unfortunately, this is also a stigma of some churches where they take a lot of money from people on death's doorstep.
Mm-hmm. True.
You get their wills, all their money goes to the church.
And then I also felt like this was, leading into what you're saying, this was a hyper-political statement in some parts. They made some different things, like we want to own Congress. They own websites and create scandals because they're a huge alt-right, type this. I mean, so they were definitely kind of throwing stuff towards if you're on the right, as the negative. Just a lot of different little things. And like you said, the church and showing, I mean, some of it's very subtle. Don't get me wrong.
No, some of it
but it's
bangs you right over the head.
Well, it's also like the hypocrisy of Christianity. These people are Bible thumpers in church, but and Potter who wears a minister clothing is an assassin, and but he's also reads the Bible and whips himself and
doesn't like profanity around him.
Right.
No.
I mean, but he's not afraid to shoot somebody in the face. I mean, so like they're showing you hot topics of society right now: the attack of Christianity, the either the alt right, alt left, whatever, the politics of being bought. I mean, there's just so much there. You know what I mean? And these 3 episodes highlighted those things to a T.
Unfortunately, I'm extremely burnt out on all these topics.
Yeah,
I am too.
I just don't have any room for them or anything.
It's not this show's fault. It's the world today's fault.
I mean, you go on Twitter, it's all you see. You turn on the news, it's all you see.
It's bash fest.
Everybody's got an opinion, and
Yeah.
I don't care about any of them. And I just want to enjoy my entertainment and stuff like that. And all this stuff, I know why they're doing it. It's hitting on current events. It's to make sense of things.
But that's not what I'm watching the Punisher.
My question, Potter has some erased tattoos on his body.
Yes, and
they are SS tattoos.
Yeah,
they're
Nazi. They're straight
so
Nazi.
Are we to assume that he's ex-Aryan Brotherhood or white nationalist type person who's been redeemed?
It could have been prison time, and that's how you get caught up into this.
He has a set of skills
that
are not like...
He could totally be an immigrant of... he was an SS soldier. He was a German taught, whatever, this, there, so. I don't know.
You talking about like a child of a Nazi?
No, maybe
he ain't a Nazi.
No. What I'm saying is maybe he got his training abroad, but he's now, in the U.S.
Maybe.
Nazis are basically world hated.
Oh, I
Like,
agree.
who's training him? He has, legitimately, one shoulder has an SS. One has the skull with the German
Well, he
helmet.
also has the emblem, the four. It's not the leaf, but it's the German cross.
Yeah.
It's 4 equal side cross.
What's
The
it called?
swastika?
Iron Cross.
The Iron Cross. Yeah. It's not.
And then his back has a massive cover up. I don't know what
Yeah.
it was. I don't know what it is. Whether, like I said, is it
Obviously he's got skills. Where he got them from.
exactly.
But I mean, my thing is like I just don't think his skills equal up to beating Frank in any shape, way, or form.
He's more the cunning killer. He's not the
I don't think he's
hand-to-hand
punching.
combat.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to beat up Frank in any form or fashion.
And I mean, maybe that's my problem is I just don't see where this is going to all wind up for this to be a battle or something. And that's my problem with him as possibly the headlining villain of the series or season.
He's a very unique character that they really develop more through these 4, 5, 6. His wife's dying.
Mm-hmm.
The Schultz are encouraging new treatments. These things have got to be handled. This is our plan, God willing. Like I said, it's a lot of wah, wah, wah. I don't know.
Here's my thing. I feel like Potter is going to turn on the Schultz.
I do too. To me, I think
due to the fact that the wife appears to know that she has like 4 days to live. Or
Yeah.
4 weeks to live or something like
Not
that.
much time. And she's come to just
Very
like,
little the wife is always the one that goes and talks. She's obviously a part of all this.
mm-hmm,
The Schultz
plan and
matriarch.
everything. Yeah.
And then the patriarch. They're all doing these things just to string him along, I feel.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I
there.
feel like he's a true believer in what he thinks and believes and stuff like that. He knows that these people, or he's going to find out at least that these people are not.
that
You know what
they're
I mean?
just political
He
gain
doesn't
and
know
everything.
what's on the photos. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel that he's going to become a bad guy, based on the fact that he's going to end up wiping out the Schultz family. You know what I mean? Because of his wife. This new treatment or whatever it is they're trying to help her with and stuff like that. Maybe there's something going on there. You know what I mean? Because I think they want to make it look like the Schultz or the puppet masters and stuff, obviously. But this Potter guy, I think we're going to see him kill all them and then still be dealing with Frank too. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're doing with this
but
guy
as soon as
totally.
because as soon as if he kills the Schultz, he has no reason to really go after Frank anymore or anything. He doesn't care about those.
That doesn't
photos.
matter. If he affects Frank in any form or fashion,
Frank's
Frank
going to be coming.
finds
Yeah,
him.
Frank's going to come after you regardless.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe that's where you're right, and somehow Beth comes back into play because of this.
I could see Potter getting quarreling with Frank, but through getting away or some other means, and goes back and handles the Schultz his way. Does that make sense? Coming to an understanding or whatever.
We've seen in these 2 episodes, Frank lets 2 people live
Yeah.
that normally he would just kill on a dime.
Well, I mean, we've already seen him kill this photographer guy before, back in season 1, where the dude tries to sell him child pornography.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
In a pawn shop or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, like,
you're
we
dead.
know-
Door's closed. You're
Yeah.
done.
So we already know that he would have killed this character had she not been there.
Absolutely. So is there a moment where he maybe lets Potter live
I think it has potential. That's
in
how the
order
Schultz
to
get
go
taken care
back
of.
to get the Schultz?
I could definitely see episode 11, 12, where Potter goes back, handles the Schultz, and episode 12, 13 is the wrapping up the Russo story.
I don't think he's. I think he wants to take out the Schultz.
Who do we think the main bad's going to be? Is it going to be Potter or is it going to be Russo?
I think it's got to be Russo.
I'm going to guess Russo. We spent the first half of the season already establishing who the Schultz are, Potter and everything else, and Russo is developing late.
But I mean, maybe because Potter does come after Madini a little bit, or Madani, and so he could potentially become the head one. But I mean, we've got so much invested in Russo. I don't see how it's not him.
We see that Potter has some files of each of them.
Yes.
One of them's Madani, one of them's Frank, one of them could be Curtis. If he hurts Curtis,
He's toast.
then I definitely see Frank.
I don't see him hurting Curtis. I see him hurting Curtis's girl.
Nah, That's not enough to make Frank crazy, I don't think.
I think it is because he'll just ride with Curtis. And Curtis actually cares about this woman and everything. We're being introduced.
I think the reason the woman's introduced is truly to make it feel worse when Curtis dies or...
Oh, don't tell me that, man.
I'm just saying that's what it is.
I don't want Curtis to die, but Curtis is in a tough spot now.
Yeah.
Because now Russo's messing with his support group.
And, he's already... This is the season. This is the last, episodes where they show him meet him at the car, and Curtis is genuinely scared for his life, having to carry a gun. And now that at the end of the last episode of number 6, they're joining together to handle this. So I think he's got neck deep, and I have the potential. I think Curtis doesn't survive the season.
Yeah, I think. My thing is though, I don't think Russo kills Curtis.
I could definitely see it where Potter does.
I think where Potter does it. Because that's when Frank really goes after, Potter.
Well, he'll lose his junk.
Yeah.
And as Russo, I know he doesn't remember everything, but he's just like, I would never hurt you, Curtis. Like, that's not what I was here to do or anything. And in here, in his head and everything, we're still brothers. But
it doesn't seem like he needs Curtis to die, though, because he's doing all this shit for Amy at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it didn't even 100% affect him other than Beth and the kid.
That's
you know what
true.
I mean? So it's like he's doing all this because he likes Amy and wants to take care of her. So it's like, all this stuff with the Russians and everything like that, that's nothing to do with Russo or anything.
Yeah. And just like any classic Marvel or anything like this, things have got to get worse before they ever get better. We got to hit rock bottom.
They've got to get worse. Then, like you said, they've got to go to rock bottom. Then they got to go a little bit lower than that.
Think about Daredevil. Think about the Punisher. All that stuff like that. You're going to hit the shit is going to hit the fan. People are going to die. It's going to seem hopeless. And they're going to come out the redemptive side of it. To me, Curtis's death would be a big part of that. And, the destruction of things and all that.
And that would allow him to become the Punisher because I think Curtis is definitely a really big stabilizer in keeping him more humane and everything.
No, see, I think the end of episode 6 showed Curtis is on the same path as Frank.
Yeah, it's time to handle it their way.
Curtis is saying Russo has to be put down.
Yeah.
Not in bars.
And he already did tell Madani that.
Yeah, he told Madani that too. I wish Frank would have just killed him right then and there.
That's true.
They're on the same page. Frank is letting her know, you got to let me be me. Let me do it my way. You know what I mean?
That's fair. But
and I feel like she's slowly coming around to that, but it's like...
which I'm happy because the only thing I need him to do is put on his vest that has the skull on it because I'm tired of waiting 6 episodes and I haven't seen him put a skull on yet.
I've at least seen it. She pulls it out of her closet. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, but still, I haven't seen it. To me, like what I understood this season was supposed to be about was him.
We've already had this season. Like, it was last season. Like, there's no reason that we have to rebuild him and go through another origin story.
Well, there shouldn't be a situation where I need to feel like, okay, now I am the Punisher. No, you're it. Yeah, we got it, Bubba.
But that was the whole point of last season, was that he finally got the final, bad guy.
Yeah.
Remember in Daredevil, you thought he had gotten to the top of it. He hadn't.
True.
Finds out Billy set it up, but really there was
their chief or colonel,
the sergeant or whatever he was that was pulling the strings. He got them all.
Yeah.
And that's when he could finally have his closure. He got the ones that killed his family. Mm-hmm. Everybody.
And he was able to open up to Beth and kind of start the new life and everything.
Right. Well, I need to see the skull. I'm tired of waiting. 6 episodes in, I'm tired of waiting.
The problem I'm having is the little bit of flip-flopping they're doing. I love what Amy was telling him was like, you seemed excited that you got to get into a fight.
You were looking for any excuse to get involved into this.
Any excuse to get back into action. I wish they just would have stuck with that.
Yeah.
Don't make him be
like, I'm enjoying getting back to being the Punisher.
Yeah. Just take on who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Embrace it.
Embrace it. It's like I want to see that. I don't want to see him kind of wavering anymore.
No, just lean into that darkness and everything.
Because that's what we loved about season 1. Mm-hmm. He's like, this is me. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, really.
And now I felt like once they played on that part where Amy was like, you were excited about it. You couldn't wait to get into this fight. Mm-hmm. No more conversation needed. Frank is just this guy. He cannot get away from it. Even if when he gets happy. It's like it only takes one spark and he's back in it. Let him be in it. You know what I mean? Let him just dwell in it.
Let him be the Hulk. You know, the secret is to always be angry.
Yeah.
That's what we need him to be. Just go ahead, do that, lean into it, and I think the pace is going to pick up a lot more once we get to that point.
These, like you said, the fight at the weight room, at the gym.
Most memorable thing all yet.
It's awesome. But it overshadows everything because the rest of it was so slow.
I mean,
the stuff with Billy at the psychiatrist's house. Snored to death. Now we find out that she was a cutter and she has a mortal fear of windows and heights, I guess.
Yes.
Which means she probably tried to commit suicide at one point, jumping out of a window or something like that.
Multiple times.
So it's like, now we know we're going to dive into that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
More and more.
Two damaged souls will find love.
Right.
You know, because she stabs in the hand, and then they turn into a kiss fest.
Do you feel like they are actually trying to make us feel sorry for Billy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, in my notes,
like he's a troubled mind, and
I was like, they do a really good job of making him feel like a victim in everything.
All the way until he kills his Arthur with a stickball bat.
Oh, yeah. That guy deserved what he got. After you find out what he was.
Yeah. He's like, at least I loved you, kids.
Some of you had the decency to love me back.
Oh, God.
I wanted to murder him dead right there.
I want to go brush my teeth right now. Hold on.
But
I mean, like then they're trying to play into the face again with everything. He's like, you're not so handsome now. I was just like,
but my thing is, they just played an origin story for Billy.
Yeah.
To show why he became a badass soldier. To show why he was no parents. To show why he's always looking for
zero conscience.
Something to
I'm just like to and everything. A family.
So now it's like,
and then we have.
Are they going to attempt a redemption for Billy?
I don't think so.
Do you think there's any way Billy has to become a good guy to help Frank beat the Potter crew?
No way.
Zero.
God, I hope not.
There's no way Frank would take that help.
No, it looks like Billy's on the track of F all the rules.
Yeah, I'm on all or none. They want to come get me, they're either going to kill me or I'm going to kill all of them.
Well, I think he's going to the point where he's like, when I was overseas, which is all he can remember, or his happiest times, it's like, we didn't have rules. We just did what we were going to do.
Yeah, and now he's assembled the crew.
He's working a crew, obviously.
All because they took down a truck driver.
Oh, now we rob banks.
Yeah.
We chased down a tow truck, and one guy yanks him out of the car and gives him a beat down, and the rest of them are like, "Whoo, we're ready. We can go to a bank robbery now."
And not only that, they pull him off. Like they don't even let him fully commit to it. Right? They're like, "Whoa, this got way too serious." But they think they can rob a bank.
I know a place.
Yeah,
look at this crew right here. We're our own bosses. We made a huge leap. In a matter of less than 30 seconds of film, we went from 4 guys just talking at the bar, reminiscing.
It makes total sense for Billy.
Yeah.
The rest of these guys, I'm like, man, y'all are jumping on this horse real quick.
Well, of course, Ben Barden's face, even though they're like, I can rob a bank, he just looks at him like,
yes.
You have candy? I mean, his expression was money.
Let me jump into this van.
Yes.
But I can easily see Billy killing all these guys at some point, just losing his mind.
Losing it. I totally see Heat redone in Punisher.
Oh, them walking down the street.
You're coming down the street, and they've got massive guns and this, that, or so on.
Wearing these masks.
Just mowing down, cop cars and people and making a spectacle.
I guess I consider it unfortunate that I don't like the path they've started with Billy.
What? I don't even like the mask. I thought the mask was weak.
No, I thought the mask was weak.
Yeah. But I mean, I just don't see the end game for either one of these villains. Like, I mean, I just can't picture it, and I don't know what we're doing with them. And I think trying to juggle, I think going back to what you said, having him wait so we just had one true villain to follow would have done us a lot better.
I hope they do a good job of not making it where it becomes muddy. When you have there's 3 big issues here. Frank's back, Frank dealing with Russo, and Frank dealing with
Potter.
The Schultz, Potter situation. And then Madani in the mix, so it's a hyperactivity of problems, and you hope that they do a good job of making sure that they don't, demesh each other, if that makes sense in a weird way of saying it.
I don't know what
don't
they're
know.
going to do.
All I can say is what they do to, like you said, the fight scene in the gym overshadowed everything.
Let's just talk about that fight scene a little bit.
I thought when they took the limo driver out and the swapperoo at the restaurant was really cool. I love that. I like that he took him out there to the river and had that conversation with him, and you realize they shared the same enemy. And the guy was like, just don't shoot me in the face. And you
How
saw
old's your daughter?
Yeah, and she wants to be a musician, and I didn't do it for you. I liked all that. I like this Russian. I think their guy was spot on. I thought that was strong, But again, all I want to talk about is the fight at the gym. He goes and see Turk, which like Turk we see in every Marvel show just about now.
Yep, the crossover king, man. Like he's in everything.
And they they set him up and bait him and all that, and I thought it was great. And he comes in there, and this guy is like, I need him alive, please.
Okay.
This is a monster.
I love that this guy is not a stereotypical badass.
No,
This dude looks and probably is.
an MMA fighter.
Well, he's definitely an MMA fighter. He's got cauliflower ears and everything like that. But he looks like a Russian MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like a legit fighter. Like a guy who wrestled a bear at some point. You know what I mean? Like,
And during the fight scene, like he gets kicked and punched, and he's like, moving on.
Dude, he
gets
hits that
kicked
teep
and
kick.
wipes
Yeah,
wipes his shirt off.
With a monster teep kick. Like, full connection, everything. Just, like you said.
Wipes it off.
All right.
But he doesn't look like a some of the guys in there look like typical super jacked, what you'd expect from any action movie. This guy looks like a fighter.
He looks the part.
He's got like stringy muscle and stuff,
Oh yeah.
Looks a little older.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's just
Very
like he's
functional.
made of iron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how many times we see the same stunt actors do the same stereotypical roles over and over and over. I was truly expecting to see. I don't know if y'all seen this henchman that's been like every movie, especially like Equalizer. He looks Russian and he's got this mustache that points up and he's got a weird beard. And
No. That guy's
in
one of the
everything.
greatest humans of all time.
I know, but he's in every henchman movie that's Russian.
Okay.
I was fully expecting to see him in this one. But he wasn't.
He's an actual ex-MMA fighter. He's
Okay.
a fantastic human. He has all kinds of products and stuff like that. He's a great dude. His pirate life. That's why he's like that.
Okay.
Has that great beard, that curly
Yes.
mustache. He it's his Twitter handle, his pirate life, everything like that. Like he exudes that
So
lifestyle.
he's like the Russian version of Danny Trejo.
He's not Russian. First off,
okay.
he's not Russian at all.
Oh, that's news.
God, what's his damn name? I can't believe
Pirate
it.
life. Like,
He has his own coffee and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah,
I'm a fan of this guy already.
He's he's a big time motivation guy. Super awesome dude.
Well, everyone go follow Pirate Life on Twitter. And
I gotta find his name. I mean, I know who his name.
I
know his stupid
he's a
name.
great guy, wonderful human. But anyway, we're getting to the meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about with.
All right, so this fight, when he picks up a 20-pound
dumbbell,
and hits somebody in the face with it,
you're done.
I hurt. It hurt my face just to see it happen. That was horrible. I've picked up those thousands of times.
You're not swinging them.
It's not the little metal plates on a bar.
No.
It's the solid, jagged, you know what I mean, piece. I was like, oh, it made me hurt so bad. He picked up a kettlebell and threw it into a guy's face.
It was nothing.
And it was over. I mean,
There is no getting up.
Use the squat bar, lifts it, and does a nice little swing, breaks the dude's nose and everything.
They pick up, the bar several times.
I mean, these aren't things you can use as weapons, people.
45 pounds. Each.
Chunking them like a frisbee. I was like, what? That's not okay. It's go long.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. It's just unbelievably. They used a bunch of workout equipment
in a way that you envisioned it kind of being used in a fight scene, but you never thought was actually possible.
But that's the thing is,
I mean, he used
if you've ever picked up weights, you know how horrible it would feel
to swing one of those.
or to get hit by one would be horrifically bad. You're right. The 5-pounder.
Yeah. He uses his brass knuckles and everything,
Just as a punching mechanism.
oh my god!
The swelling on that man's face.
And each punch, I was turning away because I was like, oh man, I know how bad it's gotta hurt. It was
there was no facial bones left.
no.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I felt so bad. I felt so bad.
Oh man, brutal. And like the blood splatter again. Like I mean, this is just one of those things that brought joy to me, seeing how well it was used.
The thing is, some of those guys are dead.
Oh yeah, not some of them
The 20-pound weight hitting those guys in the face,
dead.
That's all she wrote.
that's death.
Yeah,
Death.
Broken legs, broken arms.
You imagine the momentum.
taking 7 punches to the head with the 5-pound plate. Dead.
Oh.
But and like the
Look,
ones
I
that
dropped a 5-pound plate on my toe, and I thought I needed the emergency room. Okay.
Just
My life's over.
edges the edge of your pinky toe. Just
Kill
put me down. Just put me down.
It's too great.
Just put me down.
Tell my love. I love them all.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then the poor ones that did survive that have just been laying in their own blood. Potter walks in, all useless.
Do we believe that they were still in there laid up?
I think they were in there licking their wounds, probably.
Yeah, I mean, but
Well,
here's the thing: the light was off.
dumbbell face.
Maybe never
Yeah.
had that.
He,
They may have just went ahead and
they
made
may have
sure.
just drug him into the freezer or something.
Yeah, that was more of this is a courtesy if you aren't dead. Like,
Yeah. Let me just shoot you because if you
Well,
want to try to
here's the
survive
other
that.
thing too is that the Russian said you killed my nephew or my cousin or whatever like that, and he's like, no, I didn't kill him. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so that was Potter who came in there and killed the guy who was not hurt.
Well, no, he came in and said, it was Klitschko. Was that his name? Klitschko?
Maybe so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But then you find out that Klitschko is that guy's nephew.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I didn't kill him.
I have no reason to. Right?
Yeah. So,
And then once you know you're going against Frank, I think I would have tried to negotiate a little bit more before I would have tried to send the goons on him. But
I don't know if you have that Russian monster behind you.
Yeah, I mean, I could feel like you're pretty stacked.
What's
That's-
crazy, though, is a large group of those Russians were at the apartment waiting for him.
yeah, with the AKs and everything, just
I
roaring
thought
to
they
go.
were going to come in behind. You know what I mean? After
Right.
he's done fighting him and stuff like that, and they
just
come
realized they've
wander
been
in.
duped and everything.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I was glad that they didn't because I loved just the hand-to-hand
Yeah.
brutality of what that I just witnessed. But
And then we just get the exit of just like him and Turk leaving. He's like, I never want to deal with you again.
Feelings mutual.
I like when he comes in the apartment or like that, and she sees them all bloody. He's like, does that mean you won?
And like,
he goes
gives like 2
double
thumbs
thumbs
up.
up. Like no words necessary. Just just pouring blood. I'm like,
What does the
"Ugh."
other guy look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Just
just
took a
like,
shower there, homie.
yeah,
it's
it's like
he's got steroids all over you.
this is not good. Yeah,
But I mean, I will say for like the big things for 4, 5, and 6 is the acting in this show is still phenomenal. And like all things considered with that, like Amy, her progression, like the fact that instead of just sleeping on the bed, she has to get underneath it because
Yeah,
we
little
realize what she
development.
went through.
And they show you the scenes of her friends getting killed and the brutality of that.
not really. I wish they would have showed the scenes.
Yeah, they just show the dead
They show
bodies
the
and
they
everything.
show the aftermath.
Yeah.
I do like. I like the part where Frank is teaching her how to come out a gun.
Yep.
You know, I was laughing when she kept falling. And he's like, "You're
Well,
gonna come out me," you know.
Not just falling, like I mean, he's throwing her. Like I
Yeah.
mean, he's
Ooh,
not
he
taking it
kicking her in
easy.
the back of the leg, and
I was like, I slow mo was like, I'm gonna try that. You know, to see if that's how you.
yeah. Well, also the just classic kick in the back of the calf knee area like
yeah,
that. I'm like,
drop you. Yeah, really. My kid gets out of line. No, I'm just kidding.
BleedTV does not condone.
But I mean, like that was some cool stuff. I mean, like, and then he was like, you know, whenever I approach, I'll call you by name. Anything else, you take that shotgun and you let loose.
You talk about a hello, this is coming.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? This is classic. In a little trailer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That thing's going to get shot to
Oh, this
pieces.
is like, you know, I feel, are we Lethal Weapon or are we playing, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, get onto the trailer, you know. But yeah, I mean, so there was a lot of stuff going on in 4, 5, and 6. I just, you know, all right. Do you think Madani finds out who Potter is through all the kitchenware or all the stuff they found at the restaurant?
I think what we're going to get is his old file.
Yes.
We're going to find out why he has all these tattoos.
Okay.
We're going to find out his priors.
Service and everything or something like
We're
that.
going to get an explanation of these tattoos.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd be okay with that.
explanation.
Which means we're going to find out why the hell is he so well trained and where did these tattoos come from?
Right.
And
Yeah.
like what's happened to
Which
him.
should be the same exact answer.
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no reason he should have Nazi tattoos unless he was just like a white nationalist, like crazy person.
okay, that's
White supremacist type dude in prison or out of
Finds
prison.
Jesus, comes
Yeah.
out, creates a life for himself.
I mean, it very well just could be prison, and like that's how you survive. And then you also find a religious group there, and then they're like, we need you to get rid of those.
Well, that's the thing is, if Schultz comes around and is like, say he's like looking for
recruits or something.
good recruits.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
want to do God's work.
yeah, you're a white nationalist. You're an idiot. Get rid of all these tattoos. That's not your calling.
Let me show you the way.
Let me show you the real way. You know what I
Right,
mean? That
right,
type
right.
of stuff. Make him an asset,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't be running around with these,
Tattoos and everything.
tattoos blaring, "Hey, look at me" all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like if you drug him out of the fire and made him somebody important or feel important,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. We'll see. I bet he's got a bunch of priors based on these tattoos.
Yeah, I bet you could even be a situation where he's believed to be dead or, missing or whatever. There's no
Maybe,
telling.
maybe so. Or maybe he's connected to a group of white supremacists that all died in a gunfight. You know what I mean? Because he went in there and killed them all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His old crew.
I hope his history is really revealing and makes his character that much more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it gives me a reason to fear for Frank, I guess. Because, like, as I've been saying this entire time, I just don't see it yet. And so hopefully this history gives us that.
You hope.
I don't fear any hand-to-hand combat. I fear intelligence-wise, maybe, because this guy appears to be very smart.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, Frank was able to call out exactly what he was doing the entire time. We've tried to see his smarts and everything. He's just very good at gathering intel.
I understand that, but my thing is he walks up on Madani without any fear.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, because he's also very smart with it. He's like, what can you do to me? I mean, you don't have...
but that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Is a man who like doesn't fear death necessarily,
Well, I mean...
or is extremely smart and is kind of a step or two ahead of you.
But, I mean, there's a difference between sneaking up on Madani and sneaking up on Frank. Because he's not going to worry about arresting you. He's just going to put you in the ground.
But you got to understand, though, that might be his plan to be caught by Madani. You know what I mean? Or be seen by Madani. You're like pushing buttons, you don't
that
really
could be
know.
the precursor.
Yeah.
That's a really bad plan in my book. And so, like, I mean, I don't see that as necessarily smart. I mean, maybe that is the plan.
He has to draw Frank and the girl out because he doesn't know where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as he follows Madani, and Madani walks right into a place and Frank's seen later, then he could make connections.
Okay.
I think that's what the files they show him looking at.
Mm-hmm.
First, he picks up the Madani file. That's like, eventually, it's the Russo file. He's going to talk to Russo.
Yeah.
And be like, we have a common enemy.
Well, and then...
So you think there's a chance that Russo and Potter could join forces?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Oh, man, I don't see it.
I struggle with that one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Oh, no. I think Potter is going to try to use Russo as his bait to get Frank.
I just don't see any way he can get Russo to do that. I mean, I guess maybe he can show him the pictures of what Frank did to him.
Well, he's mentally incapacitated, so maybe he could be the one that actually alerts him to the reason your face looks like meatloaf is Frank Castle.
Yeah.
And that might be enough to do it, but...
If he's the one that can give Russo a new purpose and also tell him, you look like this because Frank is the one that did this to you, then it becomes a loyalty thing to this guy. You know what I
Personal
mean?
vendetta, yeah.
So it's, yes, I think Potter uses Russo and his anger to draw out Frank so Potter can get to Frank.
And that'd be a good connection. I don't see it yet.
Or maybe just distract Frank with Russo so he could get the girl.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But now that we've already got the pictures developed and everything, that's going to throw a wrench in it. I know he doesn't know that yet or anything, but I think that changes the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But, I mean, that's pretty much 4, 5, and 6.
That's pretty much 4, 5, and 6 in my mind.
Yeah, like I said, not a ton to nitpick. It's just much slower.
No skull. Only thing I'm upset about, really.
No, I mean the Russo stuff is very slow.
Mm-hmm.
We y'all, I think you talked about, he obviously escaped, but he meets a guy with I got a big dick shirt on the bus and stuff.
Big Bick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And, he makes fun of him like Edward Scissorhands and, trips him out.
this is just not real to me.
No.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I would have enjoyed watching the beatdown, though.
I would have been totally fine watching the beatdown.
Yeah, it being extremely brutal. But, like, I just don't see people acting like that this way anymore.
Nobody does this.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody acts like this.
And, like, I could smell the guy through my laptop. And, like, I had a problem with that as well. I don't know about y'all, but I was just like...
The only thing I saw in that whole scene was Ben Barnes' enormous feet in socks. Because they highlighted 3 or 4 times.
That sequence stuck out like a sore thumb to me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so phony to me. It's cheeseball to me.
Yeah.
I mean, there may have been
It
some
was-
comic relief in it, but I'm like,
No, there was no comic
dude, nobody
relief.
talks like this.
Yeah.
Nobody acts like this without backup.
And
You
then,
know?
like, your biggest thing is the switchblade. I was just like...
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no.
And then I guess my biggest was just like she didn't know the name Frank Castle. Like to me, that's just unacceptable. And when I say she, I mean Amy. When she found out his real name and everything, you shouldn't have to look him up. Like we've seen Daredevil, that was national TV coverage. Punisher, like to me,
you
that's
see
a
the other
miss.
guy knew exactly who he was.
Yeah, and so it's just like I don't know what hole you could live under in this day and age because it is happening in current times that you didn't know who that name was.
Do you cringe every single time she uses his daughter's name?
Yes.
I'm always like, what, you crazy?
Yeah, like what?
Say Lisa again one more time.
Yeah.
You're liable to get a bullet at you.
Yeah. Just crush your esophagus right now.
Have you not seen everything that he's done right now?
Just find the nearest rock and smash you with it. It's like, you got some balls on you, kid, to sit there and just blatantly call out her name
Yeah.
and tell you that she would want you to do this and that. Or
Yeah.
let her live in your head.
You're
And
some
you're
kind
like,
of good daddy, aren't you?
you can't live without this head. Yeah, every single time she says her name, I'm like, ugh.
Fear for her life.
I'm like, man, you're taking your life into your own hands.
It's always the deadliest killing machine, in all New York right next to you when you're talking to him.
Yeah.
Whatever. Guys, as always, I hope you all enjoying everything. Please continue with us. We'll shortly we'll be wrapping into number 7, 8, and 9. So be looking for it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any content when it comes out. As always, you get a chance if you like it, hit iTunes, give us a positive review, and
Please
tell your
let
friends.
us know how you like the Netflix. If y'all like the 3-episode model and everything, y'all want us to switch it up, try to do something different. Like we said, we're trying to figure out what's best for y'all that we're able to give you with these Netflix streaming things. But,
Absolutely. But other than that, guys, I think we're called tonight. This is the Punisher podcast by BleedTV, and I'm Zach.
I'm Jake.
I'm Cash.
And we'll see y'all next time.